What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Uziverse. I'm happy that you have showed up today, this Monday night, 6:30. So before we get started with the show, I just want to let everybody know that Josh is not going to be here today. He is preoccupied doing some other work that unfortunately he's not going to be able to make it. But I brought in a much suitable replacement, someone that I think will do a much better job than Josh will ever do. And if Josh is watching, yeah, I want my comic books, dude. So let's bring out, you guys know him, the comic army leader, the comic vet, Chris. What's going on, my man?
What's going on? And I don't think I'm better than Josh. He does a fantastic job.
But yeah, me and Josh, he was like, oh, I tell him because there is something going on today, and I told him yesterday. I said, does that mean you're not going to be on the show today? And he's like, that's a good question. I don't think I'll be in the show. So he's preoccupied right now, unfortunately. So he's not going to be able to make it. So, but you know what? You are an excellent substitute. Thanks for being a part of the show. So
my pleasure.
Yeah, man. So we're going to be talking about comics, something that we do every Wednesday anyway. Mm-hmm. But in this world, we're going to talk about what's coming out as well as what's trending. So we're going to first do the trending, then we're going to do what's coming out. But before we do that, you know what we do. We got to say what's up to the people in the chat. You know who kicks off the show? Las Cruces. He's everywhere. Woohoo! Las Cruces made. Also, we got Larry Green Machine. Welcome, comic family. Right, of course, coming from New Mexico. Right, and look at that. We even got the hashtag Comic Army. We got Dirts in the house. Hello, my homies. Also, Trev, the shipping guru. Right, because we're kicking off the Monday night lineup. Today's a busy lineup too. We got a lot of stuff going on with the lineup. So we got a few things. Let's see here. What did he? I need to know how he was video playing. I don't know. You tell me. Anyway, man, right now we're going to let people jump in for a little bit, but they're taking a few minutes to come in. But Chris, what's going on, man? What's you been up to lately?
Went to Montreal this weekend. It's about 6 to 7 hours away from Toronto. And went to the Montreal Comic-Con that was there. I won a meet and greet with Greg Capullo, actually. So that was the whole genesis of the idea. Went out there Friday, had a good time, hung out with Ken Lashley for a little bit, did a walking tour of the con. I've been to lots of cons in my time, both Canada and the United States, but I've never seen a Friday like this one. It was packed. It was like Saturday at any other con. Tough to move around, like a little bit of a pinball bouncing around off people.
You got to come to New York Comic Con then.
Yeah, that's high on the list. The New York City Comic Con is high on the list, and I know that it's coming up. I would love to take a tour through the Javits via the New York City Comic Con. But the meet and greet with Greg Capullo was really cool. He was open and honest, and actually recorded the whole event and just actually dropped it on YouTube today.
Cool. Yeah, I saw it, but I didn't get to watch it. Yep. So that's something I plan to watch tomorrow when I get a nice time working from home. So that's a nice thing about tomorrow. We also got Comics Cap Collectibles. What's going on? All right. So let's talk about our giveaway. So we do have a giveaway. So make sure you put the hashtag IzzyverseNYC. That's going to be our giveaway stream for today. Izzyverse NYC right now, so go ahead and do that. You guys can get started, but let me show you guys what you could win. So we got a few things courtesy of the Woods Collectible. All right, we have a nice Blue Beetle #1. This is the new. It's called the special edition. So they're not calling this facsimile. They're calling this it's a reprint. So we got this one here. So Izzyverse NYC. Make sure you get that NYC in there, guys. All right, so we got the Blue Beetle facsimile. Let me zoom in. That makes some sense, right?
There we go.
Yeah, it's got to be like this, right? This is the way it goes. There you go. You got to get the little version, right? So we got that one.
That's nice.
We got Harley Quinn, black, white, and leather. So this is, I want to say this is an art germ. I'm not sure if it is.
Is it?
I'm not sure.
Rose Bash, is it?
It's hard because it's hard. I'll look it up.
Yep.
But then you got that one there. So we got that. And you know what? You know what this week is over here? Chris, do you know what we're celebrating this week?
Are we celebrating?
So we're celebrating Shark Week.
Oh, Shark Week.
It is Shark Week this week. And you know what I got for Shark Week? I got a Venomized Jeff.
Just when you thought he was going to go King Shark, no.
You got to get Venomized Jeff, man. Look at that. This is one of those peach momokos that I absolutely love.
It's Jeff.
It's Jeff, but he's been Venomized.
It actually looks pretty good that way.
It looks great, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks good.
So we're giving that away. So this wasn't part of the original giveaway. And then yesterday I was telling Josh, I was like, Josh, it's Shark Week, dude. And he's like, man, Jeff. So we're giving this one away. So we're gonna give away the It's Jeff Venom. Now these books haven't officially come out, so I don't have these books right now. This is not real. This is some weird stuff happening. Movie magic, right? But finally, if you are a channel member, or if you leave anything on the super chats or super sticker of any kind, I don't care how much you put it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to include, if you win, this Blade #1. Now, this, as you could see, it's blank, but you will receive it not blank. So you will get original art by yours truly, who's gonna. I already read this book, so I read it. I don't need to hold on to it. So these are the giveaways for today. So we got 3 titles for subscribers, and if you are a channel member, you get that 4th one with a Blade remark on it. So that's what today is. So make sure you put hashtag IzzyverseNYC so we could get that going, and we'll do it a little later. So what's your thoughts about those books? Any of those books stand out for you?
I kind of want to question how you have Wednesday's books on a Monday. However,
I had them. I can't tell you. This is not real.
All right.
These are just images.
That Harley is incredible. But
it is now. But you can't be Jeff, man. Come on,
yeah,
Jeff.
I know you're a fan of Jeff.
It's Jeff.
But I'll be honest.
There's the Harley.
On 2 cool guys, 2 hot picks. Both Mark and I kind of struggled on our hot picks for this upcoming week, and he went with what he did. Mine came down to Something Is Killing the Children, the new arc about to drop, or Blade, because I am a fan of Blade. I've been a fan of Blade since I was about 16 or 17, from the Rise of the Midnight Suns. So that the fact that Blade is finally coming back, I hope that's ongoing. I'm not sure if it's actually going to be.
I'm not sure if it's ongoing or not.
Right.
What I can tell you, it has a classic Blade thing where there's a girl who needs help, and he's out to help her. But there's a twist, of course.
Right.
Right.
And some of the variants are fire.
Yeah, they are.
Honest.
Now, I will say there is a book which we'll talk about a little later that it snuck up on me and I forgot about it. And that's going to be my pick of the week. So we'll talk about that later when we get to the new releases. But there's once you see which book it is, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that one. And I did too, because I would have had it in this collection, but because I forgot about it, I didn't pick it up. And we're not talking about Void Rivals 2. That's not the book. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started with the trending books of the week, guys. So let's see what's trending. All right, so here we go. Trending books of the week. Now, Chris, you got a chance to take a look at that list pretty quickly, did you?
Yep. Yeah, I went hand over pretty quick. Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of books in this list that it's like when you first look at them, you kind of go, oh, okay, and then the other ones are a little more obvious. Right. Starting with this first one here, Marvel Comics presents 95. This is a book that came out back in 1992. Stunning cover by Sam Keefe. Unfortunately, he doesn't do the interiors in this book. This is the origin of the yellow costume.
I didn't know that was a thing. That's literally this.
Yeah.
I obviously Hulk 181 or 180, however you want to argue, whatever side of the whatever side that you want to, draw the line down, fine, that being the first appearance. But I didn't know that this was a thing. And yeah, I'm not going to say I'm not surprised by it, because there's nothing that really catches me off guard anymore when it comes to certain books, and they're hot for literally a minute. And I think this is a book that's just going to be hot for a minute. Now, I'm presuming if there's a lot of hardcore Wolverine fans out there that may not have heard of this, they're going to eventually pick up this book. But obviously, this is not the time when you want to do it, because it is a dollar bin book.
It's a dollar bin book. As you can see, the high right now is $5 for the book. You could obtain it through eBay. I think they're trying to pick up the prices now in eBay, but whatever. You know what I mean? Talking about Wolverine for a second, because it is part of what we discussed about the topics. The thought of the movie coming out, Deadpool 3, right? We got so many potential cameos on the rise that this list that we're about to see here is loading, right?
Just flooded with it. Yeah.
Starting with this book. And this book is a top tier book now. When we get to the top 10, you'll see where it lies on the top 10 list. But yeah, guys, if you find in a dollar bin book, just pick it up. It's probably never going to go down $10 now. Probably. That's probably where it's going to probably stay. But the origin of the yellow costume, do you really need an origin of a costume? Like,
I don't know. Like, Spider-Man fans may be holding their hands up, like, "Yep, the black suit was a big thing." However,
but that was a big thing.
That became its own its own living entity and went on. But the yellow suit, I might be controversial by saying I'm actually a fan of the brown suit, but that's what I grew up with when I discovered Wolverine and the Uncanny X-Men. He was wearing the brown suit at that point. But yeah, I get. Like, literally, this is
what's going on.
We will never see this book on any trending list. Again, let's be honest.
Kenneth Bird is on the house. Cali Comics, what's going on, guys? Yeah. Speaking of books that are trending, Marvel Fanfare number 40.
Like
that. Okay, nothing against the story. I think the story is phenomenal, and it's David Mazzucchelli, known for doing Daredevil, as well as one of my favorite Batman story, which is Year One. I actually like that one more than I like Dark Knight Returns, because it's just such a good story overall, and then his artwork is phenomenal. This is one of those times where he did a Angel story, and it's a good story. It's a really good story, and the artwork's phenomenal. The reason why this book is on this list is because of Cartoonist Kayfabe. They reviewed the book, and now everybody wants to go get it.
It's never to be heard from again.
This was worse than the Wolverine book.
Yeah, and like, I picked up the odd Marvel Fanfare, back when they were coming out in the late 80s or mid to late 80s, and even into the early 90s, because again, Marvel Fanfare always promised a good story and fantastic artwork. That's what it's known for.
Hey,
however, there's nothing canon in these stories. There's nothing important. Like, Marvel Fanfare number 1 is not even a big key. Like, they're just fodder.
Yeah, you're right. And they were high quality books.
Yes.
So they were high quality books, good paper. They were double the price of a standard book at its time. And what was crazy about it, this came out back in 1988. It was an Angel story, which eventually becomes Archangel. And if you can see it right here, it's kind of hard to see it. I got my cursor over it, but it says non-key. It's not even a key. It's just a story, guys. If you really want to read a good story, go up to Comixology, go to the Marvel Universe app. Don't go crazy. Do not spend more than $5 on this book. That's all I got to say about that one.
Don't even spend cover price. And but the interesting thing is, it just goes to show the YouTube channel Cartoons Kayfabe what kind of pull they have now. When they do this, and all of a sudden it's a trending book.
Now I'm gonna have to go pick up these books and then sell them. It's just like, oh, gotta watch these guys are loving it, right? Another book that we're sticking on this trend right now. Now, books that have no value. Let's talk about movies that have no value.
Let's talk about flops.
Everybody's talking about Flash being a flop, but no one's looked at Elektra, did they?
Oh,
Chris, I have this movie. I own this movie.
Do you?
But here's the best part. I still haven't watched it.
Yeah, it's not out of the wrapper yet.
I'm not yet. It's just there. It's there to say I have the movie.
Yeah. Let's be kind for a second and look at the cover is fantastic.
It's Jennifer Garner, of course. She's
Jennifer Garner in her prime when she was the it girl of Hollywood.
There you go. He wants it.
And some people may not even know that this was a thing, that it was actually a movie adaptation, but it was a thing. It was here for half a minute. The movie bombed. There was no sequel. They moved on from it. The whole idea of building a Daredevil world with Affleck and Jennifer Garner just fizzled out as fast as it came in. As fast as it came in, it was gone.
Yeah. Now this was the purpose behind this one is what we talked about earlier. We mentioned the Wolverine costume. This is in the same thing. It has everything to do with Deadpool 3.
Yes.
Deadpool 3 is coming out. When will it come out? We don't know anymore because of the strike, but which we'll talk a little bit more about. So it is rumored now that she will be playing she will have a cameo role in this movie. We're most likely going to see Elektra played by Jennifer Garner one more time. I actually am excited about that. Not that I'm excited for her Elektra, because I don't think her Elektra was all that. I just think it's Jennifer Garner. So I'm,
No. The young lady that played Elektra in the Netflix world, for the Daredevil world.
Yeah, I remember that one.
She did I'm not going to say much better job. She probably had way more of a better script to play with, and they brought Elektra in properly, whereas she was rushed in Affleck's movie, and then this whole idea of a semi-sequel it didn't work out well.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not going to sit here and bash Jennifer Garner. Let's be honest. You act to your script, you act to your director. So it is what it is that way. But yeah, it's exciting that there are all these franchises and all these films, even though they may not have been received by the general masses. I'm sure there is, and I'm sure it may have a cult following. It may have a small audience that think that it was a good film. And so for those people, and for Jennifer Garner's family, and I'm sure her children as well, get to see her play a superhero. And now that they're starting to grow up or whatever, good for her. And I'm sure it's a hell of a good time for her to revisit this, thinking that it's been dead for over 20, 25 years, whatever the time frame is. But yeah, this again, please, people, don't be going out and spending $10.
Very small audience.
Yeah, it's a very small audience, Jim. Yes.
But come on, seeing Jennifer Garner in that red costume.
Yeah.
That gets a thumbs up, guys. If you don't give a thumbs up to that. Look at we got Beckerman just showed up. We got Freaky Louie. You guys got to watch Freaky Louie, man. He's so good, man. I love his stuff. All right. So, all right. Another book, again, with more talk of casting, but I like this one. This one has to do with DCU. So it's DC's turn now. And James Gunn threw us a bomb this week. And it's an amazing bomb that we're going to have multiple characters in the Superman Legacy movie. This was one of the characters. We'll talk more about the other characters. And if you don't know, we'll tell you. Brave and the Bold 57, a nice classic Silver Age goodness in this one. And this is the first appearance of Metamorpho. I consider him a fan favorite. He's one of those guys that he has a cult following to him because he's just a cool character. Kind of a take on the Fantastic Four, kind of like their version of a Super Skrull. Tell me what you know about this book.
Well, like most issues from 1 to say 150 Brave and the Bold, almost every other book is a key for whatever reasons, whether it's new characters, certain events, or artists or creators in their first time being published. Metamorpho, yeah, like you said, he's a cult character, in my opinion, a small cult character. It's not like he's been a part of any of he hasn't been a major player in either of the big crisis events that have happened, stuff like that. However, after seeing James Gunn take on his own version of Suicide Squad, this does not surprise me by any stretch that he's going to dig deep into, the vaults of DC characters to pull some characters out that are going to be fun, that are going to be entertaining, could deliver some good one-liners here and there. My only thing is, okay, yeah, as you can see, the high end of this book is $500, low end is $50, depending on condition.
Yeah.
I don't know if this character will make it out of Superman. Like, we're good. Like, some of these characters, like, heads up, James Gunn loves killing off characters. So I think, hey, if you're going to break the bank on this, be prepared, hopefully, to see Superman like before the movie gets released, generally, because if Metamorpho doesn't make it, you're going to, like, the bottom end of this book is going to, like, it's just going to collapse the way that Lady Thor did.
Yeah.
I'm not going to rain on parades in here, I'm trying not to, at least, but I don't know if this character is going to be long-term to the DCU.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just know James Gunn has just loves killing off characters. And this could be one of those characters that's brought in some slapstick humor and then it's just kind of gone.
Yeah. I was upset at when I watched The Suicide Squad that they did kill off Boomerang.
Yes.
He's the one character that never died, right? Yeah. And you kill him. Sorry, guys, spoiler. They kill Boomerang in the Suicide Squad.
But he's still a foundational character in Suicide Squad that's printed today.
He's one of those characters that he's always part of the Suicide Squad. But I guess, Harley Quinn has to be that character now, looks like. That's what they went for. Not a big fan. I always been a fan of Boomerang because he's a dumb character when you really look at it.
Oh, yeah.
He carries around a boomerang and he throws it. That's his big thing. You know what I mean? So, but one thing I will say before I move on with Metamorpho is the actor playing him is Anthony Carrigan. I know him from Gotham. He played Zaz, which was a very different take on Zaz in the comic book, but I enjoyed him because he has this scary quality to him. However, he's in this he's in the show now. I don't know what's the show that he's in that people are talking about that he's actually nominated for. He's nominated for an Emmy. But you know what? I can see it. Even though I always pictured Metamorpho to be more bulkier, this guy's more a lean character. But we'll see. But I'm looking forward to it. Yes, I did mean Captain Boomerang.
Yes,
Beckerman. Corrected. Another book here, because of the same factors of the DCU, has to do with JSA Secret Files and Origins #1. This features the first appearance of Hawkgirl Kendra Saunders, another character who is now going to be part of the DCU, who's going to be featured in some way in Superman Legacy. I'm a fan of Hawkgirl. I've always been. I just read the new issue. I'm so on it. I have to wait and see on it. But I always liked Hawkgirl, and the actress that's going to be portraying her used to be Dora the Explorer. So think about that for a second. Hawkgirl. She has anger management issues, and she's being played by Dora the Explorer.
Yeah. People grow up, though.
Yeah, she's in her 20s, huh? Yeah. The girl.
I think this is a little bit of this is a book that people may want to consider paying attention to.
Mm-hmm.
I think Hawkgirl, some of these female protagonists, they are going to, I don't think they're going to be one movie characters. I think the idea of Hawkgirl, when you realize how well Hawkman was received in Black Adam, I'm hoping that the same thing can be said for her, and that this is the second Hawkgirl. I think this is a book that if you can find it in that $5 bin and it's in legit good shape, pick it up and pick them all up. I think this book has room to grow. Let's be honest, the book is not necessarily all that old. It may not be on everyone's radar, even though right now it's here right now. I'm sure in a couple of weeks it might be kind of forgotten about, but this is one that, hey, if I was diving and I saw this, I'm pulling it every time now, because I do think Hawkgirl with that young actress will have some staying power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what I'm seeing, what I'm envisioning here, and this is just me speculating, is I believe James Gunn is going to build a Justice League similar to the animated series version, where Hawkgirl was a major member because they needed another female character other than Wonder Woman. That was the real reason why they did it. And they put her in the character in the place for it. So I do see that happening more so. I'm thinking to myself that James Gunn is trying to pull that. We might not get, we'll get a Hal Jordan eventually, but it might be Jon Stewart or the other guy that we're going to talk about soon. When it comes to what version of the Justice League we're going to see here. I think for many fans, they grew up on Justice League, the animated series that came out in 2000 or something like that, around that time frame, where their version of the Justice League, their Green Lantern was Jon Stewart. They had Hawkgirl. Unlike us, you're close to my age. We had the Super Friends.
That's right.
Which was very different. And we got Hawkman and Hawkgirl.
That's right. As a couple.
Yeah, we had a couple. So yeah, I'm with you on this book. Another book that came back to the mix. This book was hiding a few months ago, and now it came back, and that's the Terrifics. Again, this is a first team-up book. I'm curious why this one is the one that people are hunting for instead of the actual first appearance of Mr. Terrific. The first appearance of Mr. Terrific, he was also announced to be in the movie with the actor that was playing and played Darwin in X-Men First Class. He's going to play. I think that's a solid pick for it. But yeah, this book is just a teen book, and it's just getting attention because James Gunn likes the cover.
You might be right. Again, a little bit of a slapstick comedy type of superhero book, very lighthearted, even though the villains in it were not. I can remember this book. It's not that old. It's a good time. And again, I kind of think that I'm really thinking that he's going to be introducing some of these characters to try and match a little bit of the Guardians of the Galaxy flavor that the MCU clicked on so well by having a bunch of unknown characters come together. And I know DC fans are going to say these are not unknown characters, but to the general masses, they kind of are. Yeah. And unless you watch Super Friends, then you would have an idea who Plastic Man is. But it could be interesting, but I do legitimately think you're going to have some of these characters fall in the Superman movie to try and just to help raise the importance of Superman, who Superman is supposed to be, because it is the launching of the DCU.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what he wants to do, he wants to establish a world of superheroes where in the previous version, in the Snyder version, it was like these heroes are just coming out. This world, they've been established. They're there. They're part of the overall storyline. I'm sure we're going to see these actors show up for 5-10 minutes at most. I don't think they're going to take it. They're just going to be cameo scenes, kind of like, hey, Superman, what you doing? I'm over here fighting. Okay, see you later. Kind of one of those things, right? That's what we're going to see. That's my interpretation of what he's doing, but he's building a universe, right? Okay, moving on back to Marvel. A book that I'm not going to lie to you, Chris, I was searching for this, and every time I found it, I kept finding the trade. The trade is what I keep finding. I can't find the actual issue. I look for the trade. I'm finding the trade. So this $20 that they say is a high, that's actually for the trade. The book in itself is going for about $80, and that's Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. Do you understand the purpose why this book's in this list here?
Because the whole idea of everyone's just guessing. Let's be honest, guessing or slate leaks of what Deadpool 3 is supposed to be. He's just wiping out different universes, or what he's done is causing universes to collapse, kind of thing. Now, I own the trade. I actually got it for my son. When my son discovered comic books, he fell in love with Deadpool. So I picked him up a few Deadpool books. This was one of them. I read it afterwards, and let me tell you, it is fantastic. Corey Andrews does the covers for them. You see singularly, one by one, Deadpool wiping out superheroes and supervillains, and like what he does to Spider-Man is just like, oh, like Deadpool legitimately says, I don't know why anyone ever tried this before, and it worked. And then and what he does to Captain America at near the end of the series, that Captain America is one of the last ones standing, and he's like, we have to stop Deadpool. And then Captain America looks over and says, whose briefcase is that? And then all of a sudden they clue in, oh no. And then a bomb goes off. And then Deadpool, heads up, if you haven't read it, spoiler alert, decides that he breaks the fourth wall and decides that he's going to kill the creative team at Marvel. Who's writing this? I believe it may have been Cullen Bunn that did it.
Yeah, it was Cullen Bunn. It was Cullen Bunn.
So he wipes out Cullen Bunn and the artist, and then he turns to the reader, and that's how it ends. Like, you're next.
You're next. He went Goldberg,
so he went
on
from
that.
one universe to another, and then is potentially going into our own universe as readers. And that could be something that could work in a Ryan Reynolds Deadpool movie, because he does break the fourth wall all the time.
And the biggest thing about it is that the clips that people are seeing, the images that are people seeing, is there's a set, and behind the set there's the 20th Century Fox logo, which is part of the set. So the rumor is the reason why this book is on the ban is because it's not necessarily Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. It's Deadpool kills the Fox universe, right? Which Elektra's a part of. Which the rumor was another rumor has to do with Gambit, and Gambit being in this movie. And why is the actor escaping me? I can't remember the actor who wanted to play Gambit really hard, wanted to do it.
Oh, Channing Tatum.
Is he sure? No, for spoilers.
Yeah. Channing Tatum wanted to play him.
Channing Tatum, yes, he wanted to play him.
Never got to play him. However, he was played by the man who was in Friday Night Lights and was John Carter of Mars. I forget that actor, that Canadian actor. Yeah.
So that's another rumor that Channing Tatum will be part of it. I think it's going to happen. My personal opinion, I think it's going to happen. They're going to get him. It's going to be one of those situations where you want it, you got it. Here we're doing it. This is our opportunity to do it. Just like it's the same thing as John Krasinski playing Mr. Fantastic. I think it was something that was already in the works and people wanted. But in this case, Channing Tatum wanted it. He was going to make a movie. I learned that he actually grew up near Cajun Town, an area over there in the bayou. So I'm excited for that, and I want to see it. I'm just curious to see a Channing Tatum version of Gambit. I've always been. He's a pretty funny guy. Another book that's on this list. This is Star Wars, The Clone Wars. Again, more speculation. We didn't talk much about Star Wars because that's usually Josh's thing. Josh is huge on Star Wars. I'm more of your casual Star Wars guy. I watch all the movies, watch all the TV shows. I don't really collect the comics like that. In fact, I found out I had a Darth Vader #1 and Josh bought it off me. So I was like, okay, cool. So what's the big deal about this book?
Well, it's just a normal cover A for the first appearance of Ahsoka. Ahsoka's already made her big screen, I should say big screen, but her little screen debut in a season of The Mandalorian. And now that the second trailer is dropped and everyone is basically saying it looks incredible, this book has found its place back onto the hot list. Like, let's be honest, we've been seeing this cover and the ratio version for the better part of 5 years now. People have been specking on Ahsoka for a very long time. She was a very important figure when it came to the Clone Wars animated series, and which this obviously is a Clone Wars comic book. But yet she's been a fan favorite for a long time. You know, her personal struggle and her growth, walking away from the Jedi Order to eventually become a Jedi, and the fact that she was trained by Anakin, and then eventually takes on Darth Vader. Yeah, again, Star Wars fans, the one thing I can say, and I'm sure you can agree, is they are not afraid to spend money on what they love.
They're not.
So on what they love, they are not afraid to spend money. And this is one book right here that is a testament to that virtue, that when they find something they love and they think it's going to be special, they go out and spend money on it. And this is a book for a better part of 5 years has been one of those books.
Yeah, this is similar to a first appearance of Miles Morales and, you know, book character Harley Quinn, Deadpool, characters who came out I want to say recently, but not recently. Now I'm thinking about aging
last
myself
10,
here.
15 years.
Yeah, 10. They're older, the other two. But this is one of those stories. This book came out in 2008, right? So it's really not as old as you think. But what's interesting about it is, first of all, it's a Dark Horse comic. Second of all, it actually has a low print run, which is 24,000 copies is actually considered low print run. When you really look at it from that perspective. Obviously, if you're outsider looking in, you're like 24,000 copies. That's a lot, but it really isn't in comparison to other books. So that, and it's the first appearance of a character, beloved character. That's why it's demanding $700 high. It's probably demanding even more than that. But
one final thing about the book itself, it's a condition sensitive book. There's a lot of black all around that book and the back cover as well. So to get it in a very high grade without color rub or spine ticks or that kind of thing, that's what makes the high end or the 9/8 so much more expensive, is because it is difficult to get in a high grade.
Yeah, absolutely. So be on the lookout. If you find this book cheap somewhere, pick it up.
Yeah.
All right. But we talked about the DC, and you know what? I'm so happy about this because he is one of my favorite Lanterns. Guy Gardner is going to be played by the one and only Nathan Fillion.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, I can't wait to see that. And it's only one thing I want to see. It's not going to happen in Superman Legacy, but there's one thing I want to see come to reality. Him being punched by Batman. That's it. That's it. You could kill him off afterwards, but if he gets punched by Batman, he has to show. I want him to show up in Raven Bowl. Just that one scene. He just right in his face. But we talked about it. Green Lantern 59, the first appearance of Guy Gardner, and that costume doesn't do his justice. We got to get the classic, the real costume. And yes, there is. They already confirmed he's going to get the bowler cut.
Yeah.
So,
right. So he's going to get that $2 Pete Rose haircut, and now I'm not going to sit here and bash on my fellow Canadian Nathan Fillion, but I thought this was a little bit of a different kind of casting because he's not necessarily a young man anymore. Nathan Fillion, and to me, Guy Gardner is someone that's late 20s, early 30s, or the Guy Gardner that I think of when I read Green Lantern or any crisis type or crossover books. So I thought that was a little interesting. Kind of made me thought, okay, is he going to be a 1 movie character or 1.5 movie character? How is Hal Jordan going to be mixed into this, or a different Lantern altogether? I don't think that Fillion's, could be. Fillion's Guy Gardner is going to be long lasting. I think it might be a setup fall kind of thing.
Yeah.
However, it is fantastic to see this book on a trending list. Again, someone mentioned Comic Cap Collectibles that for a Silver Age book of such importance, that a mid-grade book is less than $200 for such an important DC character. That is a little bit of a steal. Let's be honest, Izzy, right? Like
it is for now. It probably won't. It probably won't be anymore.
Right. Yeah, it might quiet down for a little bit, But yeah, this kind of book, if you can find it in a 5.0 type of condition for less than $200 and you got that money, you may want to consider picking it up. It is a hell of an important book and a hell of a big fan base too. Yeah.
And Guy Gardner's if we talk about Metamorpho, he is another one of those cult characters that people absolutely love. Yep. You got to read him in Justice League. So that's where he really shines. That's,
he's
Kevin McGuire.
He's such a good jerk.
He's a lovable jerk. And I think, and that's where someone like James Gunn strives in, right? He can make characters lovable, but they're jerks. Think about Rocket Raccoon. When you really think about Rocket Raccoon's kind of a jerk. Yeah, he acts like a jerk, but he's beloved, right?
Yeah, or Peacemaker, perfect jerk.
Perfect jerk, right?
Yep.
So it's where he shines, and I think what James Gunn is doing is he's bringing characters people want to see, and at the same time, characters I believe he wants to see, right? And with someone like Nathan Fillion, he's one of those guys that he's always in a James Gunn movie. He's just he's always somewhere.
Yeah.
And
Mike said it best. Mike just said it best. James Gunn loves to hire his friends. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true, because that's the underlying thing here. Like I said, I don't know. I thought it was a little bit strange if they would hire Nathan Fillion to play, a younger type of character that I thought. But in the end, James Gunn hires people who he knows, people who he can trust, and this is one of those hires.
All right, so now let's go to another character here who seems to be getting some friction, and that's Rick Grant. Right, made his debut back in Amazing Spider-Man 17. He was probably one of the very few things that's memorable about the Dark Web storyline. So I like Rick Grant though. So that's all I gotta say. He's in the list. What's up, comic verse? All right,
Tony.
And he's going to be in Amazing Spider-Man 29. He's in this story this week. Yeah, pick it up if you can. $15 right now, the high for this book, because it is a 1 in 25. Yes. It did have a spike when it first came out. It might get another spike right now. So, let's see how it goes. This is one of those books that you might want to wait on.
Yeah, we can't count as many bastardized versions of Spider-Man that they've done, since the late 60s. This is just another one of them.
Just another derivative character.
It's just like I don't know how this is on the list, but it's not that the Amazing Spider-Man right now, this volume does not deserve to be getting any praise. But here we are right now, looking back at issue 17 in a ratio, thinking like, oh, look, this is good spec. It's not.
It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of spec, Daredevil. Yeah. All I have in my head whenever I see this image of Daredevil, all I think of is Evanescence. Bring me back to life. Wake me up.
All I think of is when I see this is that Ben Affleck's hair was terrible in this movie. Like, could they like really, really accentuate the fact that he is that he's blind, that he's vision impaired, like his hair is just everywhere. Like somehow he doesn't know how to work a brush. Like it was over the top stuff.
The other part about this movie that used to drive me crazy. There's two things in this movie that drove me crazy. I went to see this movie. I saw it in theaters twice, unfortunately, because my friends wanted to see it, so I had to go with them the second time. But when I saw it the first time, I actually dozed off and fell asleep watching this movie because it is kind of boring. There are scenes that are kind of. I think the only saving grace of the movie would have to be Colin Farrell's Bullseye. I think he was a great Bullseye. He was stupid, but he was great. We got Brian LCS. What's up, Brian LCS? I just see three good nerds. Also, they jumped in, but that has got to have been the tightest leather red costume I've ever seen. To the point, how was he able to move in this thing? It just looked like it was gonna rip. You know what I mean? So
and the whole coffin thing, like it was just the whole water. Like, come on, man.
Or when he first meets Elektra and they start fighting, like somehow they both could fight. I don't know, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we could fight."
Yeah, no training. Yeah,
no training.
Yeah,
so and let's put them together right now.
Yeah.
With Daredevil 168. Now this is a classic. Frank Miller goodness. Talk about that Frank Miller photo that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Right? I met Frank Miller. I have a little bone to pick with Frank because we were at a local bar years ago. It was during a week of Comic-Con. We were at a local bar, and me and my friends, we had a nice little booth, and then someone came up to us and said, "We need to move you from the booth." So I was like, "No, I'm here. I'm having drinks." Like, well, you got to move from the booth. So they eventually kicked us out of the booth, and it was for Frank Miller. And my friend was like, "Are you gonna tell Frank Miller off?" I was like, "Frank Miller wasn't the one that moved me; it was the manager over there."
Yeah.
So that's my little bone to pick with Frank. We got Esteban. ¿Cómo está, Esteban? All right. How's it going? So this book is in the list. Obviously, first appearance of Elektra when her name was spelled Elektra.
Yes.
Never got that. But that's not the first time they misspelled names in comics. Wolverine has something a little different, too. There was something with Wolverine. I think it was Wolverine that there was like an error somewhere. But I'm not sure if it's Wolverine or a different title. But we got first appearance of Elektra. Obviously, this is a book that's always going to be on demand.
Yes.
Even it's hot now. A high for 380 is actually a steal, I'll say.
Yeah. Look, this particular run, almost all these books, in my opinion, obviously there's two massive keys, 168, 181, but everything in between is one of those runs where Daredevil fans seek them out in high grade to put that run together.
Yeah.
The Elektra saga is some premier Marvel storytelling, and it is the premier storytelling when it comes to Daredevil. Like it asks Daredevil fans, it's the first one they talk about all the time. The Daredevil, or pardon me, the Elektra saga is the most important one that's there, and it put Frank Miller on the map. Like, if it wasn't for this, we wouldn't have had the Dark Knight Returns. Like, this is the stuff that set up bigger stuff to happen. Not to say that this is small at all, because it's not. Like I said, it's some of the premier storytelling that Marvel has ever done. And it's just one of those blue chip keys, with or without it being on it hot for a minute. It will always slowly grow, because Elektra and the death of Elektra will always be important canon to the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, it was a death that mattered, unlike someone that just recently died.
Yeah.
Who's recently coming back. But that's moving on.
Rest in peace, Kamala. Oh, welcome back, Kamala.
Oh my goodness. The look in my face, like, man, could you give her at least 3 months? You know what I mean? Yes. Let her rest a little bit. But we all knew what was happening. It was kind of obvious. Another book that's on the list here. We're gonna move a little quicker now. Star Wars canon, the last part one. This has to deal with Ahsoka and the characters that are going to be in Ahsoka. So we're going to see a lot of these characters. The one that really stands out is Ezra. I think is the one that a lot of people talk about, as well as
Sabine.
Sabine, who's going to be a major part of this story that's coming up. So we know they're in the show.
Yeah.
All right. Another book that for obvious reason, we have a movie coming up, Blue Beetle, Infinite Crisis #5, the first appearance of Hyman Reyes in costume. That's this is a fun story. I remember picking up Infinite Crisis #5. I'm a fan of Identity Crisis a little bit more, but that led to this one. So that book is in the list. So I don't know how I feel about the Blue Beetle movie, man. It's hopeful, it looks fun, but I'm also thinking in my head, this was originally a TV movie that got upgraded, and I'm worried that it's not going to do good.
I'm not worried that it's not going to be an entertaining film. Yeah, I think it's going to be along those same lines as Shazam, lighthearted, had a little bit of campy value to it. It's going to have a lot of comedy, a lot of forced comedy, and it's going to have some good action and probably some decent special effects as well. But I don't expect this movie to have a big media campaign. I don't think it's going to be pushed hard the way that The Flash was, because they pushed The Flash hard and it belly flopped legendarily. So I'm thinking that now they're going to be gun shy about this one until the next Superman movie or the next Superman movie queued up. Because if you think about it, we still have another DC movie waiting behind this. Aquaman 2 is still slated to show up.
Yeah, but I think that one's going to be fine. That one's going to be fine because the Jason Momoa of it all. Yeah, I don't think that movie's going to excel like the first one, but I think people generally love Jason Momoa. One of the reasons why Flash fails because of, let's be honest, it's because of Ezra Miller. I think that is the number one reason why it flopped. I think
there's way more than just.
I think there's more to that. Yeah. I think because when people are saying that the movie is good, and people are still not going to see the movie, I think because everybody had talked about it's like I don't want to put money for that person. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Right. So that's what that was part of it. The way I see it is that is one person out of 1,000 people. That's how I see it. Ezra Miller screwed up big time, right? And Ezra Miller has to deal with it. Yeah, and Ezra Miller has to deal with it. Now is the after effect of Ezra, and I do believe Ezra messed up the Flash. That's it. Period. That's all I gotta say about that. I believe that Jason Momoa is going to pick up Aquaman. It's Christmas time, so people are still going to go see the movie in Christmas time. And we'll see. You mentioned the death of Elektra.
Yes.
Bam, we got the death of Elektra. So pretty much all these
181.
Daredevil Elektra keys are in this list. So another book. Look at the price tag of this book right now. High. $65. It's a no-brainer if you see it.
Buy it now.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. It's one of those books. Another book that is always going to be on demand because it is the first appearance. It's the first time they meet in comic book, Wolverine 88. I was happy to find that I still had my old copy of this book signed by Adam Kubert. So Adam Kubert signed right in between where Deadpool's arms are. Yes. He signed in that little area. It says Adam Kubert. It looks great. Nice. So this is another book. I picked this book up. I picked up another copy. So I have 2 copies of this book. But I picked it up for like $40 just a couple of weeks ago. So it's going to be gradually grow.
Now, Izzy, I would think this is one of these books where I would comfortably tell people, sell it now. Because after this movie drops, this book will cool way off to the point where you might be able to find some 9.8s around $100. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that unless you're a hardcore Deadpool or hardcore Wolverine fan, hold on to it. God bless you for doing it. But if you have this book and you're kind of thinking when, I would say do it right now.
The other thing about this book is that this book has different variations. Yes. There's like 3 different variations of this book.
Yep.
So try to find out which variation of the book you have, and you could get top dollar for this book because of those variations. So there's a difference in newsstand versus direct, and then there's like a price one that's a little different. Yes. There's like 3 different versions of this book. Another book that's in this list, Blue Beetle #1, of course, with the whole movie coming out, the first Konrad Karpaks. But it's not the first appearance of Ted Core. But this is when we think about Blue Beetle, modern age Blue Beetle, because Blue Beetle is he's been around.
Yes.
There's different versions of Blue Beetle, but this is the one that people really stick to, and that's the Ted Core. I want to get to the last 2. I want to get to this book, man. Barnstormers, featuring an artist you absolutely love.
It's true. It's true. I want to pinpoint though. Tony Comaverse said I picked up a Daredevil 181 a couple years ago. I have a $1 bin.
Congrats!
You might be the luckiest man in the chat room if that's a real 181. God bless you, man. Good for you.
The other 181.
There were 3 181s of note, and that's the second one. But yes, Jenny Frizen again hit the ball out of the park as she normally does with these upper torso, pieces of art that she's really been become famous for over the last, say, decade. This one again is just incredible.
Yeah, it's
but
beautiful.
Again, this is a new book, so like unless this book somehow a little bit down the road gets picked up or optioned or whatever, I think this book you might be able to find for a better price down the road. Like now, I think you and I would agree with that. Right?
Yeah, and the reason why this book is picking up steam is literally because Jenny Frizen is going to have a CG signing. So whenever you see a CGC signing of an artist, a writer, books start to pick up.
Yes.
Because they're going to go to get shipped, right? Yeah. So I would hold on it. I don't think this title has any longevity at the moment. Like you said, unless it gets picked up.
Right.
If it doesn't get picked up, it's just going to go in the way of the other books that are
and for those that are Frizen fans, you'll know that Jenny Frizen actually does not do a lot of appearances outside of where she lives in around the Illinois area. Every so often, she'll do a small comic shop appearance, maybe a few hours away from home, or she'll do something that's big inside Chicago. So the fact that she's doing a CGC signing is a special event because she doesn't travel. For whatever reason, she just doesn't travel that much. So, the fact she's doing signing, like you said, is the reason why this is on the list. And we'll get into, I think there might be another one as well.
There's another one, yeah. One that I think will demand more. Right. Like if you think this one's a big one, the other one's a bigger.
Right.
Our next book here, this was a sleeper. Knight's Terror #1. And the reason why has nothing to do with the storyline, even though I actually like it right now. I've been enjoying Night Terrors. This one had a color misprint, and Josh did not know about it until he sold his copies. But thankfully, he sold me one, so I have me a cover. But this is another one. If the story has longevity, another one of those era books that is hot now. Forget about it tomorrow.
Exactly. That's it. Yeah, a year from now, it'll be dollar fodder.
It's going to be just like World Tree.
Yeah.
So, and we talked about Jenny Frison. The last book here, man, A Lady Death by Jenny Frison. I did not see that coming.
What did Jenny get a check written out for? That's all I have to say. It's like, okay, again, this is an incredible piece that, like I said, 9 times out of 10, Jenny Frison does upper torso, so we have almost an entire body of Lady Death on being portrayed here in this piece. But yeah,
and she was modest with Lady Death, man. She was modest.
Yeah, it's not very over the top, that's for sure. And like some of the other artists do with her. But look at the high on that book.
Well, it's because there's only 90 copies.
Right. That's rarer than some rookie cards.
So if you get this book, you just hit a jackpot, because this book will be demanding money for a while.
Yes. Yep. And Lady Death does have a large fan base. And again, they're not afraid to spend money.
Nope. People just love Lady Death for I don't know how long she's been around, man. I remember in the 90s, Lady Death being such a big thing. I have a few. I got rid of a few cross-gen. I got rid of a few cross-gen Lady Death books, right? Yes. And people wanted them. So I'm like, you even want cross-gen? I'm like, I'm shocked. Because cross-gen Lady Death is not all that, let's be honest. But like old school, Lady Death with Evil Ernie, that version.
Evil Ernie, again, very large fan base.
She's one of those characters. I think she always looks sexy. I don't know who I've ever seen a bad version of Lady Death. All I gotta say is that this one's modest. for Lady Death standards, this is modest.
Well, like we have a young woman drawing a character that's been over sexualized, so she dialed it back, and it is sexy and classy, and she still looks representative of who she's supposed to be.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Taylor Winder's loving it, man. Look at this. All right, guys. If you haven't gone so already, make sure you put hashtag IzzyverseNYC. We got a few things that we want to give away this week. We're gonna give away Blue Beetle, the special edition. This one just came out, obviously, for a Blue Beetle movie. We're gonna be Harley Quinn, Black, White, and Red #1, so the special variant cover. Before I get to Blade, we got to celebrate Shark Week. Celebration of Shark Week, you get Venomized Jeff. You know you want that Venomized Jeff.
It's Jeff.
That's Jeff. And then finally, if you are a channel member, or if you leave anything on the super chat or sticker, you will qualify to win a Blade #1. This piece will be drawn. There will be a drawing here, so you will get a Blade drawing from yours truly. That's for channel members. Just make sure you put IzzyverseNYC, and you'll get that chance to win that. We talked a lot, man. We still got more stuff to go. So let's get into the new books of the week, man. So let's do that now. All right. So it's crazy, Chris, looking at it right now, but this is probably the slowest week for Marvel in the last 30 years.
But there's some big books coming this week. Like, I'm excited. I'm more excited this week than what I had been in the last two. Yeah. But it's for comics across the board, though.
Agreed. So Marvel has 12 titles, and Marvel's known for like 20 titles plus. So 12 titles, very small amount for Marvel. I'm happy. This is good. I like this. This makes it easier for me to shop, right?
Because if wallets will be happy.
Yeah, but then they got the 101 variants, and that drives me nuts. Yeah. All right, so let's take a look at what's coming out from Marvel. We have a couple of #1s here. We have Blade #1. We just showed it to you. that came out this week. Also, a key this week is Moon Knight, City of the Dead #1. This is a key because it's going to feature the character that was in the Moon Knight series, Scarlet Scarab, I think her name is. She is going to debut in this book, so this is going to be one of those books that you might want to look out for if you're interested in picking up a key. Pick up Moon Knight, City of the Dead. There is a foil cover. It is beautiful. It's a beautiful foil cover, and there's an actual really cool Scotty Young cover. I don't know if you saw the Scotty Young cover. It is a really cool Scotty Young cover that's there. Also out this week, X-Men Red 13. I want to get back into X-Men because, I love X-Men. It's still hard.
Days of Future Past that came out last week.
Yeah, I picked that up.
Doomsday, is it? I have it right
Doomsday.
Here. I thought it was really good. I thought it was a fun read.
I have it, but I haven't had a chance to read it.
Okay.
But I just want them to do it. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. So I'm looking for it. Look, we got Samuel just jumped in, man. It's been a while, man. You made it. And we got the doctor is in the house. Who? Didn't see you earlier, so evening, he's late. You have no excuse to be late, but you're okay. Oh, look at that. All right, Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy #4 is also comes out this week. The Groot Fall. It's a pretty cool story. I read the first 2 issues.
Yeah, I've been enjoying Guardians.
It's a fun story.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Extreme Venomverse #5. You got Venom Chef. That's all I got to say about that. And then we got a slugger version of Venom. I don't know what to expect from that. A book that seems to be a sleeper hit is Spider-Gwen Shadow Clones. People have been picking this book up a lot, really for spec reasons, because they just think it's, we get 101 different versions. All these Spider-Verse, Venomverse, they all end up becoming keys because they're like first appearance of characters that people hope to see in a Spider-Verse movie.
Yeah, but the Nakayama cover, certainly helps as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have that one. Black Panther #2 is out this week, and New Mutants Lethal Legion.
Yeah.
Also, Deadpool Batter Blood 2. There's multiple covers, but you see the Rob Liefeld cover. There's also a Shatter. I can't remember her name, but the Shatterstar daughter, Shatterstar, or something like that. There's also a cover in B for that. Alien 4. New this week. Star Wars Return of the Jedi. The Rebellion #1. Look at that cover right there. It's a trap. And Dr. Afra issue 34. Those are your Marvel books. DC, again, 13 titles. That's not too bad. I'm happy about that too. So let's take a look at it. Hawkgirl #1. This is a new limited series for Hawkgirls. It has a slow start right now. I have to look it through, but it's fine. Tales of the Titans. This one featuring Starfire. There's some banger of covers.
Oh yeah, the art germ comes to mind right away. Izzy, it is, it's fire. Not to be cliched, but yeah, the art germ for Starfire is incredible.
It is a great looking book. Yeah. So you definitely you want to take a look at that one too. We just talked about Harley Quinn. It's Quinn Black, White, and Redder. And it is an art germ. So it is an art germ, the one that I have. So there is an art germ version, and that's this one right here. That's art germ. So
it is art germ. Okay,
it is art germ. So I knew it was something. But yeah, it's these black and white books with. I find it interesting that both Marvel and DC are releasing black, white, and red books. I would have figured one of them would complain about it, but they're both doing it.
The only one I've really enjoyed so far is the Wonder Woman black and gold. They actually called it, but they've been so far. But some great covers though.
It might be my cheapest week.
Wait till the indies though.
There are some indies. Okay, and now we're gonna go into our Night Terror books. So you got Night Terror Superman #1 that comes out this week. Night Terror's Nightwing. Night Terror's Wonder Woman. Night Terror's Catwoman. And Night Terror's Punchline #1. I'll be honest, I'm gonna do a wait and see on these stories because I'd rather stick to the proper story than to pick the connecting stories. I read the Zatanna, it's fine, it's just a side story, it's and stuff like that. The Wonder Woman's connected to that Zatanna story in some way, but I look at this the same way I looked at Marvel annuals from the 90s. If you remember the Marvel annuals from the 90s, they had a progression.
Crossovers. Yeah.
Yeah. So I look at this from the same perspective. If the book has the man, then I'll go read it. I don't feel the need of picking them up.
I think the Superman book may do well. I think the Nightwing book might do well, just because Nightwing, most DC fans are saying it's the best written story right now, or is the best pound for pound DC title right now. The Wonder Woman, Catwoman, they may do okay, but that punchline, other than Taylor Winder, who is the biggest punchline fan I know, I don't think it's going to do all that well.
I think the Green Lantern one's pretty good though.
Okay.
The Green Lantern, because it kind of is in that same story. It's like it's part of the Green Lantern story, but they were able. Jeremy Adams is still writing it, so it's still connected to that, and that's where I find hard with these stories. Like when you stop a continuing storyline to do a crossover event, it kind of waters that story sometimes. Dark Web is a good example of that, where it was like, would the Zeb Wells story been better? I don't know about that, but would it have been better if it wasn't with Dark Web involved in it? So who knows? All right, books that are not Night Terrors. You have Batman, Superman, World's Finest 17. I actually have a copy. I'm going to read that. I'm excited for that one. Superboy, Man of Tomorrow, number 4. Batman, White Knight Presents Generation Joker, issue number 3. I've always liked the White Knight stories, but I feel like I'm getting too much of it now. It doesn't feel as special as it used to be.
Yeah, I think it's the long-lasting storyline that DC's Black Label has been putting out. Is it Sean Murphy? Is that the creator?
Yeah, Sean Murphy.
He's been doing an excellent job. But I'm like you. I like the one book kind of a season kind of thing, and it goes from there. One book for winter, one for spring. But now that because they did so well, all of a sudden now DC wants to try and milk that cash cow for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Now it's basically becoming a monthly thing, and they kind of, like you're saying, they have lost their luster, even though they are prestige format books and they look incredible and they are very well done.
Yeah. What is it? Matteo Scaleria?
Right.
Something like that.
They just don't seem to have that specialness that they did, say, a year ago today.
When I think the original story was phenomenal.
Yes.
I like the Batman Beyond one. We thought that was a cool take on it. But then it's like, now just keep making it. You just keep doing it. And it is what it is. It becomes a cash cow. Now you're just milking. And no one likes that. When you water down the product, it loses its luster. All right. Last 2 books for DC. You got The Vigil, number 3, and Static Shadows of the Coda. I have a typo there. It's not the coat, it's the Coda. So we have those books coming out. Image is a big week for Image.
Yes.
And there are some great books in Image that we'll talk about now. Starting with the book I like to call the book of the week. Remember I told you there was a book that you wanted that definitely I'm going to say it's a sleeper now because it's kind of like forgotten, but it's going to be Big Game. Big Game is the continuation of Nemesis.
But
it's the entire Miller world. So the next book that you see in it, if you guys remember Wanted, Watson's in Big Game. Yeah, flip the gun, right? I like that movie. That's one of those movies that people don't talk about enough. I enjoyed it. Come on, Zach.
As a guy that was in the military, bullets only go in a straight line.
That's not accurate. Like, when you flip the gun, that's how it works, man. But Big Game it's a crossover event featuring pretty much everybody from the Miller world. So Nemesis is part of it. The cast of Watts is going to be part of it. Magic Order, and the one that people forgot about that's part of Miller world, Kick-Ass.
So you got Kick-Ass and Jupiter's Legacy.
Yeah,
is also going to be involved in this too. This is going to be like you said. It's a sleeper. This is the thing. If you can get a ratio or a beautiful variant just to kind of put away, this might be the one to do this week.
Yeah, and it's one thing about Miller. I'm a big Mark Miller fan. I've always been. Yes, there are some times that he goes a little carried away.
Yep.
However, there are some characters that just have it, that he just got it, and Nemesis was one of them. Yep. I enjoy Wanted for what it was, for what it became. Of course, Kick-Ass is great. It became a movie. A lot of people don't know that it was, it's part of it. It was originally a Marvel.
Kingsman as well are supposed to be involved in this.
So
Kingsman, yep.
Yeah, we forgot about that. So all that stuff is going to be part of the story. So that's why it's called Big Game. So if you haven't gone pick it up. That's the book I'm going to say is going to be the sleeper of the week. The Wanted Special Collectors. Obviously, it's a commemorative issue. Nothing new about it. So it's just a reprint. So if you want to pick it up. If you haven't read Wanted before, go ahead and read the collected edition. It's easy you can probably pick them up easily. Another book that comes out this week is Impact Winter Rook #1. I don't know much about this book other than it's coming out this week. So I know Evo Skills is trying to find out what's about. It is out. It looks like it's set in medieval times or something like that, but go check it out. Another book called Scrapper is out. It's giving me that what's that dog book that that came on not that long ago? That was like a horror book with the dogs. Oh my goodness, Day? Is that?
Stray Dogs.
Stray Dogs. It's giving me that Stray Dogs feel with Scrapper. So those are your #1s from Image. Also, Noctera Nemesis Special #1 comes out this week. Right? Dirt, I'm sure you're happy. Gunslinger Spawn 22 and King Spawn.
Yeah.
#2, 24. It's going to come out this week. A book that I think is going to have a lot of people picking up because they're curious to see who's going to be in this one. Void Rivals #2. Spoiler, no big secrets. So, Void Rivals issue #2. I felt like forever since the first one for some reason. I don't know why. But that's coming out this week, so you get to continue the story with Void Rivals. Also, you got Battle Chasers 11 is coming out this week. I Hate Fairyland #7. Time Before Time. You got that nice little Doctor Doom homage, because that's what that looks like to me. Dead Romans #5 is also out this week. Radiant Black 25. Arcane Kings #3. Terror War 4. And The Walking Dead Deluxe issue 67. So those are your Image titles. As far as the indies goes, Boom has 6 titles. IDW got 4. Zenscope got 3. Antarctic Press. I know your pal, Rob Fatsax, he likes getting some Antarctic books. You got 3 titles coming out. Dark Horse has 2 and Dynamite has 2. Going quickly with them. Boom Studios, Power Rangers Unlimited Hyperforce #1. You said it. Something's Killing the Children 31 is coming out this week. How's that story going along so far?
The last arc was a little bit of a more quiet arc. They introduced a new type of monster in this, but they also introduced a new villain that's been a hero on her side of the world, but a villain over here. She's been hired to try and hunt down Erica Slaughter. Erica defeated the monster because it's too hard to pronounce for me. The type. Either way, the monster that was in that has been defeated, or at least taken on, and Erica has survived, but she still needs to try and focus and save the town because her nemesis Cutter, who is hunting her down, has lost her totem and is going berserker Wolverine style on everyone that crosses her path. So this did have a break, but it was not the typical tie-in 6-month break. It's only been away for about 3 months. So I'm glad that it's back. To me, it is still the best independent story out there, pound for pound, right now. Some people are going to argue that. God bless them for it. But for me, it's still Something Is Killing the Children.
Yeah, cool. Another book that's coming out, it actually had a little hiatus around a Vicious Circle issue 2. This is going to be a long format book. I actually picked up issue 1. I never read it, but I picked it up. So issue 2 is coming out this week. Dune, House of Harkarian #7, The Vampire Slayer 16, and Wild's End 2. Is that a wee bear image? I don't know. Is it a bear? Is it a beaver? I don't know what it is.
Like a militarized Smokey the Bear, or
something.
Is it a beaver?
I don't know what it is. To tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Oh, Wild's End issue #2. All right, over in IDW, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus Street Fighter issue 2. The first issue was a banger. It was fun. It was fun. It was just a fun book. issue 2. I don't think any differently of it. So go check that one out. Of course, people are gonna pick that up because it's the Turtles and the Street Fighters. Why not?
Ryu looks great on that cover, though.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
he does look great. Last Ronin Lost Days the Lost Days special, number 1 that's coming out this week. A new book, Star Trek, over in IDW, and not to be mistaken for Boom. I think Star Trek is it part of? I think I saw Star Trek somewhere else. Day of Blood number 1. That sounds interesting. And TMNT Best of Kyra number 1. That's just a reprint of some of those stories. Over at Zenscope, Van Helsing, Hell to Pay number 1, Bell Ancient Instance number 1, and Gretel Dark Impulses number 1. Then we have Antarctic Press. Like I said, Rob will be happy. Planet Comics 20, Fantasy Comics 2, and I've always loved this title, Manga Z issue 13. That's a great title. It's so perfect. All right. Dark Horse, the All 8 Eyes issue number 4. I know someone who's reading it absolutely loves that story.
Oh,
yeah. And Miss Truesdale and the Fall of Hyperborea number 3. And Dynamite always flips me out, man, because you have the most kitty of kitty books in Darkwing Duck, and then you have Red Sonja.
The kitty of all kitty books, and then the one you don't want your kids to be picking up.
Exactly. So they make sure they have all ages to compass. But we have a renumbering of Red Sonja number 1. I do believe there's a movie coming out. So
yeah.
So
that's been in the works for a while, but yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have that. Blood Moon Comics. Take this with a grain of salt, whether they'll be there or not. Grits and Gear number 3 and 4, and Hones of Orcs number 4. So if you like your Blood Moon comics and they're there, these are the books that are scheduled to come out.
Oh.
Also, Mad Cave. You know what? I didn't put the logo. I forgot all about that. Mad Cave Studios Monomyth 3, and You've Been Canceled. People like this book. You've Been Canceled. I think Taylor might have read it. Taylor, if you read We've Been Canceled, tell me about it. What is it? Is it good? So
go back and check go back and check his old episodes, which drop at 9:30.
Exactly. And over at Black Mass Studios, I didn't read it. Okay, so there's someone else. Oh, so it was Beckerman that liked it. Okay. So I knew someone read You've Been Canceled. It was Beckerman. So over at Black Man Studio, he has Destiny NY Mystic Mafia by Pat Shan. He's a good friend of the channel. God Killer for Those I Love and I Will Sack. First of all, titles like that drive me crazy. Just call it God Killer. Can't you just keep it simple?
Volume 2. For those exactly. I Will Sacrifice. That's quite the handle.
Yeah, these titles drive me crazy. You've Been Canceled, I'm cool with. But it drives me crazy, all these titles. All right. Titan Comics has Rivers of London, He Be Dragons. Here Be Dragons.
Here Be Dragons.
And Nouns Town, number 1. I'm assuming that's a kid's book. I don't know off the top of my head. Red Studios Comics has Promethean in Chains, number 2. We Are Scarlet Twilight, number 3. And now we got the single books. Frank Miller's Presents Ronin Book 2, issue number 3. Ablaze the Mighty Barbarians, issue number 4. Scott Comics actually has 1 book this week, which is Count Dante. Yeah, I know, right? Count Dante, number 2. Frank Frazetta, Mothman, number 2. And I think I have 1 more. I may have another one. We'll find out. Over at Source Point Press, Cover of Darkness Revelations, number 1. Owning Press has Xenon, number 2. Josh read it. He actually liked it. So we'll see what 2 looks like. Black Myths, The Key to His Heart, over at Ahoy Comics. And American Mythology has not Conan. Wow, I do not pay attention sometimes. I'm Violent Vixen. So interesting. Has that what's it called? What's that movie with Barbed Wire? Has that Barbed Wire vibes to it?
Barbed Wire meets V.
Yeah, exactly. Fair Square has Immortal Ascension, number 1. Keen Spot Toy 3. Rebellion, that they're responsible for Judge Dredd. They got Mega City Max, number 1 from Mega City, man. That if there's a town worse than Gotham, it's Mega City. You know what I mean? Mega City, you do not want to live there. It is just one huge project.
As high as the eye can see. Yeah.
Woo! AC Comics has Cauldron of Horror #2, and this is the last slide. Over at a Wave of Blue World, Tower #5. Udon has Street Fighter Swimsuit Special 2023. Woohoo! Because you gotta get your swimsuit comics. Iconic Comics has Kindred Heavens Book 1, and Literature Press Publishing Company has Silence #4. You said it best, man. We did have a heavy indie week.
Heavy.
Yeah. So, Chris, it's been fun, man. We've been having a good time. You know what we didn't do? And I did the same thing last week. We didn't go over the top 10 books of the week. So let's do the top 10 quickly. So let's take a look at those. See, I ended up using the wrong video too. That's a beautiful J. Lee cover. Look at that cover.
That is terrific.
There's JSA Secret Files #1.
Yeah, pick that up, everyone, if you can.
Yeah. Dominatrix. Woo-hoo! Gene Simmons is trying to bring Batgirl back. There goes Barnstormers, Jetty Prison 1-25.
Beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
This is a book that I don't think is going to have longevity at all.
Like the second printing has a 1 in 50?
Yeah. Brave and Bold 57. We talked about that. First Metamorpho. Harley Quinn screws up the DCU. Look at that Spider-Man, Superman homage. Done by Dave Johnson. Wolverine 88, #2. And the #1 book is Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. That's the hot CBSI. Let's take a look at the cover price. All right. Infinite Crisis #5. First cover and costume of Jaime Reyes. The Terrifics #1 is #9. What else is #8? You got Hulk #1. Ed McGuinness is Red Hulk.
Yep.
All right. She's still there, man. She's still there. Extreme Venomverse #4. The 1-25 variant. This book is going for like $150 now.
Yes.
Nice Terra Era printing #1. Green Lantern 59 is #5 on this list because cover price comes out today. So these are more recent to today. Brave and Bold 57, again, is on the list. See, #3, Wolverine 88. #2 is going to be
Turok? Oh.
No, no Turok. JSA Secret Files and Origins #1 is #2. And the #1 book is Marvel Comics Presents 95.
Crazy. Crazy that book is #1.
That book is #1, guys.
Wow. I would have guessed Guy Gardner. Okay.
Nah, it's Wolverine, man. It's the book that people... Well, I will admit, because of the price tag of the book is...
Right.
Because of sales, right? The way it works. If the book is cheap, it becomes easier to obtain, and therefore there's a sale that's being made. So that's why that book's #1 on that list. It's just based on the numbers. All right. So, guys, if you don't remember, it's time to do a giveaway. So let's do that giveaway now. So... How you like those graphics? What do you think?
I'm glad that music went really positive near this, like the second half of the song. Like that music went really positive because at first I was like, "Why does this sound so negative?" Oh, it's great. I'm happy.
All right, we got 12 entries right now for the Izzyverse, and 13 entries just came in. So just to remind everybody, we're going to be doing the Art Germ, Harley Quinn. See, I got Jenny Friends in the mind now, right?
Yes.
So we got Art Germ Harley Quinn book there. We got the Blue Beetle reprint for commemorate the movie that's coming out. Shark Week, we got Venomized Jeff. And if you win and you are a channel member, or if you leave a super chat or anything like that, and just leave a donation of any type because it's a donation, you get Blade #1, and this is going to be drawn by yours truly. So those are the books there. We got 13 entries right now. It's quite. We've been doing this for a long time, man. We've been talking for about an hour and a half, man. And I'm hungry. I haven't had dinner yet. Look, we haven't even run it yet, and Taylor's already saying it's rigged.
That's his thing, though, man. You know he sells shirts that say rigged, right? He was a part of a game show called Rigged.
Yeah, I know, right? So Beckerman is like, no Turok number 1. Dude, I gave away all my Turoks. It's over.
Turok week is complete.
Don't forget, leave hashtag Izzyverse NYC for your opportunity to win. All right. We got 14 entries. Do we get that one more entry? I think everybody's set is Scotty's channel now. So we got to make sure we give them that love. So let's go ahead and do that drawing. And the winner is I have someone I want to win. And it's not Taylor. Let's see.
Boom.
La Cruz.
Oh, yes.
Well, isn't La Cruz the king of winning these things?
He's everywhere. Like, there's no one that supports the community more than Las Cruces, so he deserves it.
Yes, congratulations, La Cruces. You have won these books. Send out your information to me over at IG, Izzyverse NYC. And yeah, congrats, bro. Congratulations, man. Yep.
That's
absolutely rigged. Oh man, Chris, it's been a blast, man. Well, thank you for filling in for Josh. I'll let Josh know that you're going to take over. Moving on. Trust me, he won't have a problem with it. I'm almost certain of it. But see, Las Cruz definitely rigged. He's the first one in and probably the last one out just to make sure he gets in, right? Las Cruz probably has 20 boxes. We'll try to get something special for Las Cruz.
Yes. Yeah. You haven't made it in YouTube until Las Cruces is one on your channel.
Exactly. So Las Cruces, you'll be expecting my prize pack in probably about a week or two or something like that because I got to put it together. And I'm always like a week behind with my giveaway. So I just want to make sure. The reality of it is because I'm waiting for the following week in case they win again.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Save on shipping.
Yeah, save on shipping. But
for me, it's I gotta wait for the Canadian dollar to try and get a little bit better. Like,
you know what I'm saying?
Not yet.
Not yet, right? All right, Chris, where can people find you, man?
Everyone can find me on YouTube, just simply as the Comic Vet. Just look for the little white circle with the guy saluting. That's me.
All right. And we're going to do a show on Wednesday. We always do shows what you got on Wednesday. So I got a nice little stack. Stack.
Nice.
I got a little stack already.
That's an open invitation. Anyone, it doesn't necessarily have to be brand new comic books that came out. It can be brand new comic books to you and to your PC. Just reach out to me on Instagram for the link for Show Us What You Got every Wednesday, 7 o'clock.
Yeah. And you guys know where to find me. We're going to be dropping in some more videos. I think I'm going to finally put out a video that only the Comic Man Andy will know and understand, because Shut the Front Door, that video is coming out. Yeah, I'm excited about that video. I've been holding on to it. Also, I got something from the Comic Vet that we're going to be doing, but we're going to be recording that for next week. And then we got Terrific Con, and I got approved for Boston Fan Expo. So I'm going all over the place. It's going to be a very busy couple of weeks for me, but go check out the Izzyverse. I'm on the road to 2,000, and I'm only about 150 away from 2,000 here in YouTube. And if once we hit that 2,000 mark, Chris, you're invited to the 2,000 show. I got some slabs that I've been holding on to. I want to get rid of them. Got to get rid of them. So tell your friends. Make sure they do it. Until next time, guys, we'll see you at the poll list, and we'll see you there. Thanks a lot, Chris.
Bye.